Hi. So today the main topic is how I think of performance in the modern chatbot. I'm using my ThinkPad, and I feel like when I use some kind of modern chatbot like ChatGPT and whatever stuff, I feel like it's really slow. And I was wondering why it is slow. And this is not slow. It's like there's some kind of stutters on it. There's like flickering and there's kind of like some kind of issue on the website. So I was wondering why there's some kind of issue of it. So last video I just talked about like render process and those kind of thing, and I'm gonna explain how I think of performance and how I think of how to resolve this kind of problem in my own way. In the browser, your like Chrome example, there's a multi-process. It's also called the multi-process application of it. There's a browser process and there's render process. In the website, your JavaScript and HTML CSS is handled by the render process, and there's only one thread, and we just call the main thread. So in this kind of thread, HTML CSS Java is happening in one here. So the problem is that if you try to use chatbot, you're able to like type some kind of input of it, and when the chatbot is giving response, the text is gonna be like made by like simultaneously. Like it just like seems like the text looks like typing. But the thing is that, so when it seems like typing and there's like a bunch of keywords on the chatbot's response, that also means that when the user receives some kind of alphabet A, because let's say these chatbots, the response is gonna be ba na na. I don't know how to spell balance or whatever. I forgot how to spell. So let's say apple. So when you since ChatGPT use SSE for the response, you're first gonna send A and P and P and L E. And when you receive A, our browser have to render A first and P first and P and L E. We commonly use React for our website, so the React has to re-render when it receives A. If there's re-renders, there's some kind of gonna be like some kind of logic in your JavaScript, and also in your JavaScript is made some kind of put made on your DOM, your HTML, your rendering has to be going. The repaint or those kind of thing, parsing and making them CSS and combining and those kind of thing is gonna be really happen quickly when you use your receives a apple, those kind of keyword. So when this keyword is when this keyword is short, it's gonna be okay. But when it's really long, there's gonna be performance issue of it, because you're basically like updating your DOM really frequently fast. So my general question is, why don't we use Canvas for it? There's more performance advantages when you use Canvas to even looking at when it receives Apple. So rather than putting some kind of text on the browser, rather than why we made some kind of Canvas like layer of it and put like a Apple here, there's no kind of be like the performance issue when you use it. It's gonna be more better than original one. But there's gonna be one leading problem, which is that the making the canvas or thinking about which one it has to be replaced on this canvas is gonna be very tricky. Even the styling is tricky. Also, there might be only little performance issue of it. And my next question is, why don't we use iframe? iframe is just like you can put HTML in the iframe. So the iframe is kind of used in the micro frontend, is that your web page is kind of different server and different domain. But iframe, that means that your iframe is actually different. It's really isolated in your website. And which also means that your iframe is basically not using your main thread. When you use iframe, there's new render process handling this kind of iframe rather than original one. So I was like, why don't we use iframe, and when there's like server-side event, and why don't we use iframe when it receives like those kind of text? Now why don't we render the first? But when this kind of streaming is done, why don't we just delete iframe and put the already made component? So iframe is gonna be like for the component that handling the streaming to reduce the performance of it. But this is really how I think of it. So I think I'm just gonna put this logic in our web service. Here's a like chatbot chatbot feature in our web service. So after I'm just gonna put some kind of iframe logic on it to check the performance issue. So this is it. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye.